All right, so we're here. It's 2-0 in the Knicks and Sixers series, man. It has been
Woo!
I
Woo!
was ready. I was just telling Jai before we got started. I was ready to, I was like, all right, it's all even. It was 101-96, and it wasn't looking good, man. I was like, man,
Mm-mm.
Brunson can't make a shot. Like nobody
Mm-mm.
is gonna hit this big shot. And then lo and behold, I mean, an 8-0 run to end the game and we win. So let's not waste any time. Before and also before we get into anything, I also want to give a warm welcome to my boy Angel from the Real Knicks
Yo,
Instagram group.
yo,
Angel's been
hey,
yeah, Angel's a real fan. Been following through thick and thin. He's no Stephen A. Smiths around here. We've seen
nah,
we've been through
nah.
the ringer. We've seen it all,
Bev
and
definitely, with bags over
Old
our
Sky
heads,
days.
from bags over our heads to the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
crazy.
been through it all, man. And now here we sit 2-0 up in the series. Obviously, series far from over.
Yeah,
we essentially took care of
yeah.
business. We won our two home games. Now we got to go to Philly. But I'll let the guests do the honors. Angel, just from game one and game two, just give us your thoughts. What was your takeaways and reaction to game one? And then of course, how are you feeling after game two?
So game one, what I noticed right away was our energy. Um, and the different looks we tried to show Embiid. He started out strong. They ended up going up 10 uh like in the first quarter, and he was looking real good. Maxi was shredding us up, but we kept up our energy. We didn't really let them put us in a place where we weren't going to respond in game one. And they looking at Brunson and Hart's podcast and stuff, they talked about how the Sixers were going to crowd him at the top and blitz him pretty much off the pick and roll and basically leave Josh Hart open, where he basically exercised that. And he made those threes in game one, where he talked about him, practicing all week, knocking down those open shots. So that's literally what we saw. I liked one of my favorite parts was when Bogdanovich put Maxi in the blender. He put him in the
Yeah.
blender. He backed him down and hit that fadeaway. I said, "Ah shit, ah shit, they're gonna
Uh-huh.
be in for a night." And then eventually, second quarter, game one, Embiid had went down, and so
Yep.
when Embiid went down, it was really like momentum was on their side, but as soon as he went down, man, it was like a switch flip. Like we just smelled blood. Like it didn't really give a damn if he came back in the third. They dominated us in the third. Didn't even matter because we were still there. It was 82-79. 82-79. Fourth quarter happens. Bang, Josh Hart. Bang, Josh Hart. Bang. Like, listen, man. Listen, man. That game one was definitely something special to see. And then even now, bouncing, even going into game two, it's like we still haven't figured out how to deal with Maxi. McBride did. I want to say McBride did a better job on him in game one in the first half. Game two, definitely saw him Maxi manipulate like our defense using the screen and stuff. He can go around, he can slip, he can get in, do whatever the hell he wants. And Embiid looked like he was pretty much playing off one leg the entire time. Like he still ended up with like I think like maybe like deep in the 20s or something like that.
Yeah, I think he had 31, I
But
believe.
yeah, he had 31. But ultimately, we stayed in it. We were consistent. Brunson played like shit both games, and it was literally everybody else
Mm-hmm.
that made sure we stayed afloat. Like because this was my thing to people. This was my message before the series even started. I said, our guys play real minutes. Like the Sixers, y'all are like y'all stagger y'all minutes. Like you guys are not on the floor all the time, and like in a big part of the series has also been those minutes when Embiid was not on the floor because we've dominated those minutes in game one and game two. And the Sixers can't rebound for shit.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah,
can't rebound for shit.
especially if Embiid's not gonna he's not going down and crashing. He's hanging out
No,
around the
because he's
perimeter. He
hurt.
doesn't want to move.
Because he's afraid of stepping on somebody's ankle or stepping on somebody's foot, him twisting an ankle, his knee is fucked up. He knows he's fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He knows he's fucked up. So, shout out to Josh Hart, shout out to Miles McBride. Hopefully Jalen Brunson can get it together. I liked what I saw from Bogdanovich. I like the aggression. Mitchell Robinson, yo, he's done a hell of a job on Embiid so far. Um, and yeah, shout out to Hartenstein and the rest of the guys. So, now we can actually get into the real topic of the fucking day. That foul, because obviously prior to us getting on the Zoom, the NBA did come out with the 2-minute report.
Yes, and that was we'll
Yeah,
wanted to hit on that a little bit later.
a
So
little bit
Angel,
later.
yeah. So Angel, that was Angel's thoughts on game 1 and 2. Let's go to
Yeah,
Jai. Jai, I know we've been a lot more active in our group chat, me, you, and Reek, just kind of talking about just throughout the game. And obviously, the playoffs just a little more amplified. But just what were your takeaways from game 1 and 2? I know we've been very vocal, so I kind of know where your head is at, but just share with the world just kind of what you saw in the first 2 games of the series.
Well, thanks for coming, Angel. Nice to meet you. Nice to hear
hey,
what you got going on.
hell to the Giants. Hey.
But but yeah, I'm going to talk about more about game two, just because I want to talk about the things we did from game one to game two, that were really cool to me. OG Anunoby was getting cooked by Tyrese Maxey in game one. Every single time, he's just too fast. It's not about OG's defensive prowess. It's just about the speed that Maxey's moving on the court. Um, I won't say that he was good on Maxey in game two, but I'll say that he was much better. There were some possessions where we did get some really key stops, because they got a switch on Anunoby, or Anunoby was the primary defender on Tyrese Maxey, and he was able to make some good reads and stay home. I think that was a big thing. The only reason they only went up 5 is because Josh Hart decided to help off of Maxey. Really, really stupid. He made up for it later, but when I was sitting here, I was actually in this exact spot. That's a cool thing about me doing this episode from my apartment. I was right here. I sat back. I was saying stuff I don't even say normally. I was like, this is a farce. This is a farce. I've never used that before.
He's like, it's a fake league.
It's a horrible league. I think I put that in the group chat. I'm done with this league, or that on Twitter, or whatever. It was like, wow. But yeah, Brunson is still a little bit more of the same from the first game. There wasn't really an improvement, but just the ability to be able to keep your head up and your head in the game. If you look across the spectrum, you see Embiid. He's very frustrated with the way he's playing. He's frustrated with the way his team is playing. He looks ridiculous in the post-game comments. He looks ridiculous on the court. He looks ridiculous at the free throw line. It's getting to his head. He had a technical foul last game. So that's not what we're seeing from Brunson, even though he's equally as frustrated with his play. And that all leads to, in the last 2 minutes, hitting a lucky three, but still being able to take that shot, really difficult, and being able to hit it and give us another chance at the game. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Like you said, in game 1, Maxey started off strong, kind of cooled off in quarters 2 and 3. In that third quarter, it was really kind of Embiid was able to knock down a few jumpers. Tobias Harris hit like a couple of shots. Like he didn't have a great game 1, but he hit a couple of shots in that third in game 1. Kyle Lowry was pretty good for them in that third. But then in game 2, I mean, Maxey, like we were saying in our last episode, Maxey's one of those guys. I mean, Maxey and Embiid, they're good players, so they're gonna get theirs.
Yeah.
No matter what, it's about how much can you limit them and can you get those timely stops on them, because you got to kind of live with the fact that there's Maxey and Embiid is going to be the whole offense. I mean, they combined for I think maybe 58 in game 1, and then 65 or 64 in game 2. Actually, I think they both had 34. I said Embiid had 31. I think they both had 34 in game 2. So they combined for 68 points. That's what they've been doing all season. They've been the whole offense. So you got to kind of live with that. And it was about those timely stops, the block at the end. Obviously, the last possession, not letting Maxey get downhill, making Embiid take a contested, 35-footer. So yeah, Maxey, like you said, it's not a slight to OG. They're just kind of gonna kind of get theirs, but kind of like what Angel was saying earlier. I mean, our guys fight, man. They play with good energy. They haven't gotten down on themselves. I mean, we started both games down by double digits seemingly every time in the first quarter, but it's never deterred us. I mean, it's easy to kind of maybe roll over when you're down double digits early, but we've kept finding ways to fight. And then Reek, let's go over to you. Reek, I know, like I said, we've been vocal, we've been talking about the games, but just now that you've had some more time to process and maybe watch the final 30 seconds of the game on repeat, like I'm sure a lot of Knicks fans have, just what are your thoughts after game 1 and 2?
Yeah, you're right. So Angel, again, what's up?
How you doing?
Welcome to the fray.
Hey.
Like you had to say. And I'm checking out your I'm Possible. I remember I used to take these guys to the I'm Possible trainings with what was it, Michael Lancaster.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. But yeah, so as far as the Knicks games are concerned, I'm just probably going to stick to what I think about both of the games. Like, just looking at how we start the games, I think, I think Angel mentioned like the energy. We start the games really slow, like, just coming out and just, I think, sort of shot hunting, or I think the instruction is to get up shots so that we can, because we believe we're going to get the rebounds. Like, they're not a really good rebounding team. But what we saw from the beginning was that they were pushing us out of the paint. We're not able to get offensive rebounds. It was one and done. We got down big twice. Tyrese Maxey, you said he was cooking OG. He was cooking OG after he completely filleted Dante DiVincenzo. He was straight embarrassing DiVincenzo in that first game. He had to sit him down. It was too much. Then they had OG, tried to track him, but they did a fantastic job of switching off of OG, switching off that assignment. They did a great job of that. And Embiid, although he's a whiner, that guy is really a good basketball player, man. Setting those screens, separating the defender from the trail. He was doing a masterful job of that. And then he's able to hit in that pick and roll. He's able to hit that jump shot. And we're not putting the pressure on him to try to put the ball on the floor. If they listen to Clyde, if anyone in the arena listens to Clyde, the Knicks would have a championship by now. I don't know what happens why they just ignore him, but he knows exactly what he's watching every single time. But I think in the second game, we saw something that, because you guys did a fantastic job of addressing the things that went on in the game. But if we're looking at some of these articles that are being posted about, people that not wanting to play for Tibbs because of his past reputation, like overplaying guys or, not trusting players or cutting his rotation to, the minimum. You got to believe that, we've Deuce McBride, how much he trusts that kid. This same guy who people hate, he trusts McBride to the point that he was allowed to save game 1. Yeah. Then he went back to him in the beginning of game 2 and then came back to Dante and said, look, Dante, you're our guy. We're going to keep this rotation. We're going to give you another chance to prove why we got you out there. And Dante DiVincenzo came to rock. He came to rock. And so then, behind the scenes, D and I have this, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah. The I Heart and Mitch war.
Right. And so, Mitch is my guy. Like, he don't have a post game. He can't score no damn points that if you throw the ball to him, he'll know what to do. But Mitch has been fantastic on the defensive side of the ball. And up until the fourth quarter, Mitch came in, he did his thing, but then Isaiah Hartenstein just took over the game, just took it over, including that block, that block at the end. We've been trying to get that block for 2 games, on Tyrese Maxey. And he finally got the one we needed that on that final possession for that penultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like that word? You want make
sure
penultimate?
Yeah.
You don't edit that.
I'm not taking the SAT anytime soon, so I'm good.
But yeah, so we did a fantastic job, man, of sticking to it. My last thing I was trying to tell y'all, but I don't know. I gotta relook at the film, which I do. I watch the games over. I'm a little weird like that. But I gotta take the timestamp of where Brunson missed again down the stretch. Again, Tibbs was sticking with him, and we were running plays for him down the stretch, even though he was missing and all that. He missed another one. They fouled what's his name from the Heat?
Lowry?
Now Toronto.
Lowry.
They fouled Lowry.
Lowry.
Lowry's at the free throw line. The cameraman is such an asshole. He zoomed in on Jalen Brunson's face. Jalen Brunson, I swear, he was crying. He was either crying or he was that close to crying. He was looking real sad. And I was like, damn, it's over. It's over. He was on the free throw line. And then, obviously he comes down and then we get the magic that we got. But just really happy about the wins. It's not over. This is if we go back to the tape, you'll take a look at what my predictions. This is not who we want to play in the first round. Embiid is very good as a very good basketball player. So is Tyrese Maxey. If two guys could beat us, it's them. I don't even believe in Boston, but if it's two guys that could beat us, it's them. They're just really good. But that's it. That's all I got.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. Everything everybody said. I mean, I think we're all on point. Just for me personally, game one, I do want to say I know you guys, Jai and Reek, you're not high on Bogdanovich, but I did say I've been saying in the playoffs, we're gonna get to the playoffs and we're gonna have a game where we're gonna his scoring is gonna save us. And he had 13 points in game one. And I know everyone, is raving about, Deuce and obviously Josh Hart at the end of game one, but we probably don't even win without Bogdanovich's 13 points. He was big for us off the bench, especially when you look at just how poorly Brunson was shooting. I like the way the centers played in game one. I think they were able to take advantage of when Embiid got hurt. I think it's easy to allow a good player, when you respect someone like Embiid that much, to even after an injury where he was looking, he was hobbled, he was not moving well. It's still easy to be like, oh my God, it's still Joel Embiid. But I think they were able to turn up the aggression. And even if Embiid wanted to try and bang down low, which he wasn't, he was settling for jumpers. He was taking step backs. He was taking fallaways. He wanted no smoke in the paint, which, I mean, he's in pain, so I get it. He didn't want to go down there, but I'm proud of the way Mitch and iHeart were able to deter him from even giving it a try, from even trying to even get down low, even if he wanted to. So huge shout out to to the centers for that, because I mean, I love our center rotation. It's either Hart and Mitch. I mean, that's obvious, but just the way it works, I think it gives teams fits. I think both of them have improved over the course of the year at defending bigs that are mobile, and B just that good of a player where he's gonna get his no matter what. But they've been doing a really, really solid job, so I give them a lot of credit for that.
I think I even saw Mitch. I think I even saw Embiid tell Tyrese Maxey down the stretch that he don't have it, that Tyrese is going to have to win the game. He pulled him over and he talked to him, and after that, Joel Embiid didn't shoot anymore.
Yeah,
he told him, you're going to have to win this.
Yeah, and I think
so.
An underestimated or maybe a forgotten aspect is that, I mean, Embiid only played the last 5 games, so he's really still of the regular season, so he's really still playing himself into shape. He had a knee injury, so it's not like he can rehab and ride the bike or go running. And obviously you can do all the running, you can do all the biking and walking you want to do, but game speed is different. Game speed is completely, you got to just get acclimated, but he's also adjusting to that. So that's just another aspect to Embiid trying to play through this injury. And you're seeing it. I agree with you. I mean, Maxey's been the closer, and he is capable. Maxey is definitely capable of, he's one of those guys where he gets on a heater. He's tough to stop. But I think for the most part, we've been able to keep him at bay at the right times. There were, I remember watching game 1 at the end. I'm like, yo, is Maxey the fastest player in NBA history? It was just it was layup lines. It was literally just free lane, open lane, layup. It was crazy. But yeah, game one, like I said, Josh Hart and Deuce will be looked at as the heroes, rightfully so. But I just wanted to recognize Bogdanovich for just being able to score the way he did, especially considering how Dante, like you said, Dante just didn't have it. He couldn't stay in front of anyone on defense. And I think after he made his first three, I think he missed his next 3 or 4, and then he made one more. So if he's not shooting, he's not playing defense, no place for him. But
well, Bogdanovich owes us. So
yes,
Bogdanovich has been so damn bad coming as a Knick. Anything we get from him, he owes us. So yeah, I think he's getting it back. Game one, game two, those 2 threes he hit yesterday. Yeah, those look like the greatest shots I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
It was
that was what I wanted to touch on. In game two, it was Bogdanovich didn't play as much. He was a little more cold from shooting wise, obviously, until those 2 big threes in the fourth. But Dante, I had confidence. I said Dante's not going to play 2 bad games in a row. He wouldn't want to play 2 bad games. I had a lot of confidence, and that a lot of credit should go to Dante DiVincenzo for the leap he's taken. I just got the notification that Tyrese Maxey won most improved player. Don't agree with it only because this is what we expected. Like, people knew that Maxey was going to be, after last year, he was destined to kind of be a 25, 26 point per game kind of player, and it was his and Embiid's team. So I don't necessarily agree. Like, congratulations to him. I do like Maxey as a player, been a fan of his game. I don't necessarily agree with the rationale behind giving a most improved player, but I think
it's like John Morant getting most improved.
Yeah, like we expected that. But I think the 2 guys, in my opinion, who were probably the 2 strongest candidates were Kobe White from Chicago and Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, Dante has been, he's been with the Kings, the Warriors, the Bucks, and now, obviously New York, and the leap he's taken. I mean, this isn't just a guy that we depend on to maybe hit a few threes. I mean, he's somebody that we depend on to get buckets. Like, he's really, a lot of times he ends up being kind of our second guy offensively, especially without Randall. So, for him to bounce back the way he did in game 2, 4 for 8 from 3, 19 points, played 37 minutes, was much better. I mean, like I said, it's tough to guard Maxey, but he was definitely much better defensively. He was really good. A sneaky thing that Dante's really good at, all of our guys are, but Dante was really good last night in help defense, because he wasn't necessarily one-on-one just checking whoever he had, but he was really good at showing and discouraging Embiid, Maxey, Tobias Harris, whenever he had a chance, Lowry, from being aggressive on the ball reversals, on the ball swing, and the catch and goes. So Dante was really big last night. Obviously, Deuce had, just great minutes again. Only had 9 points, shot 4 of 11, make a 3. But I mean, just that energy play at the end to literally rip the ball from Maxey and get that layup, that was huge. He was incredible. And then, of course, you mentioned our war of centers. I was ready to wave the white flag after the first half. I think Hartenstein didn't score a bucket. He was looking, I mean, Mitch was the superior. He was definitely looking more comfortable guarding Embiid. I mean, Embiid was still scoring a couple of phantom foul calls, but Mitch definitely looked better on Embiid in the first half. But then that third quarter, man, iHeart just turned it on. He was hitting this little floater, which is a tough shot to make. That's a difficult shot to make, not using the backboard. So he was making his little floater. He was getting a couple of dunks, and his scoring, he's not always that kind of guy, but his scoring, I think, turned his defense up because he was way more engaged. He looked better, and definitely did a better job at Embiid in the second half than he did in the first half. And it all culminated in, 59 seconds left. Kyle Lowry's at the free throw line, shooting free throws, and we're down 101-96. And then arguably one of probably a top 3, maybe even top 1 Knicks moment in the last 15 to 20 years ensues. And I think, first of all, I also just think it's really cool. You got Carmelo, John Starks, and Latrell Sprewell all sitting together for the game. I don't think that there's many former players who show up to their former teams' playoff games, to their former teams' games in general, in groups like that, and are turned up like that. I mean, they were rooting for the team like they never even played ball. Like, they're just fans of the game. Like, that was really, really cool to see. And then the controversy at the end, which we'll get to, doesn't really matter to me. I'm a big fan of, hey, it's physical basketball, it's playoff basketball. Get with it or get left. I think the Knicks has got with it, and the Sixers got left. So and then Isaiah Hartenstein with the rebound of the decade, and Dante DiVincenzo with the shot of the year for the Knicks. Man, I mean, just when you thought it was all over, Brunson wasn't making a shot. He finally magically one falls for him. Literally his only three of the game was that last three there. And then DiVincenzo off the on his second try after the steal and the offensive rebound puts in the top of the key three. So, I mean, we look good. I still feel really good about our chances. I said Knicks in 6. So now, moving on to, what we have to look forward to in game 3 and 4 is going on the road and trying to take care of business there, at least getting one of 2, which will be difficult. But based on what you guys saw from game 1 and 2, how are you feeling about game 3 and 4? Do you think we have a chance to steal one? Because I'm not going to say we're just going to go in and sweep them, because I think I've seen a lot of people today feeling confident about a sweep. And Angel, I'll let you go first since you're our guest. But after what you saw from game 1 and 2 and just how you're feeling, just what's your outlook on games 3 and 4? Obviously, we will be on the road, and no road team has won a playoff game yet. But do you think we can maybe buck that trend and steal one of these 2 on the road?
See, it just depends if we're consistent on the energy side, because now we're gonna be in enemy territory. It's gonna be hostile in Philadelphia. They're mad as hell. They're down 0-2. They're going to be hungry, and Maxey literally just won the award while we're on the call. Like, they're going to present him with the trophy and all that. They're going to be playing with a lot of juice. They're going to be playing with a lot of hype. It's going to be loud in Wells Fargo. So at least I know for game 3, it's going to come down to, can we match that energy and just don't force shots. Don't like, I know we rebound like better than they do at this point, but just, try to look for the best shot, As far as Jalen Brunson is concerned, that goes pretty much in hand. What I was going to say about him is just, he needs to not force, because I mean, in game 2,
he's been taking a lot of very rushed shots.
Yeah, it's like he super was forcing stuff. And I'm like, well, look, Dante was behind him on one of the possessions where he got stopped on the left block. Pump fake did his thing and forced the shot up when Dante was literally right behind him. Literally just like, yo, get the ball out. I know we don't have too much time, but try to find something better than that. Staying physical with him. You got to keep the body on Embiid, because if he's not trying to go into the paint, let's keep it like that, because the guy's a load. Like, he's a whole load. Like he's an overwhelming basketball player. So if we could just can keep up the physicality with him, like Mitch is doing a great job, that would do us some justice. And as far as Maxey is concerned, if McBride can continue to be hip to hip, just stay attached to him, even going over the screens, just be a pest, press Virginia, shout out to, Bob Huggins, for raising the Maxey, McBride and stuff, like, for real, like, we got to keep the energy up, because what I saw in game 2 in that fourth quarter is we were down, we were coming back, and you kind of could feel it. You kind of could feel it, right? You kind of felt it, like, oh, these Knicks they're for real. They're not playing around. Like, they're not about to sit and fucking just kick in, man. Like, they're going for it. So, if we just, we can continue the energy, I think we have a good shot to steal. Just depends on how Philly's going to play,
right.
Because they're going to come out strong. But I think we have a better shot at just gauging how they're going to come at us, and then obviously responding. We just got to stay consistent and just stay in the game for one. Can't get beat down 20. We've done 10, but I don't think we could do 20 to 30. Right. I don't think so.
Right. And especially with we've been starting really slow offensively, and it's much tougher to start slow offensively on the road and try to come back, because now the crowd's into it. And I mean, when you're at home, people aren't against you, but now you're on the road, you go down, 11-2, 11-0. And sometimes that could be it. Like the crowd's taking over and they're yelling and you got no juice. So yeah, we'll be definitely the crowd, the environment. It'll be imperative to keep spirits high, to keep energy high. Because if we drop even a little bit, Philly's good enough to, even their role players can, like, I feel like we're definitely due for a Kelly Oubre, like 24-point type of game, because he's been bad, but he's
Buddy
definitely
Hield.
for a big game. Yeah, Buddy Hield, 5 or 6 threes type of game. Like, one of these games is going to happen, and we're going to have to win one of those despite that happening. Reek, what are you thinking about, heading into game 3 and 4 on the road?
I think that the Jalen Brunson that we have seen is going to be the Jalen Brunson that we're going to get going forward. I think that the pieces that Philly has, with the length and athleticism that they're deploying against him, are going to be, it's just effective, right?
Yeah.
The shots that he's taking are shots that he normally takes and shots that he normally makes, but they are making it difficult for him. Just the same as Deuce is making it difficult in spots for Tyrese Maxey. It is what it is. I think, though, that defensively, we have a better cast of supporting players that outmatches their matchups on the Philly side. So what I mean by that is, OG Anunoby going against preventing a Kelly Oubre game. Josh Hart going against preventing Tobias Harris from getting involved, right? And, McBride coming off, preventing Tyrese Maxey from going from 50. Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitch collectively preventing Joel Embiid from going for 50, right? So I think that our defensive supporting cast is much better, in a better position to help Brunson, and especially like some of this scoring. I've been wanting this. One of my keys in the very beginning was, can Josh Hart get going early offensively? And I think he has been able to do that for us when he's called on. But the offense is still going through Brunson, and we're going, if that's the case, and if Brunson continues to allow them to push him right, and then our coaches don't provide any option for him to go left into his strong hand, then it's going to be more of the same, and that third game is going to be really tough. I think this team, if the correct adjustments are made, like getting OG Anunoby some plays run for him. If we get some plays run for OG early on, as opposed to just standing there and watching Brunson and hoping for an opportunity for a corner three, let OG go to the basket a couple times. Let Josh go to the basket a couple times, so that we're not down 10, not down 12. If we can come in the game and get some other guys going with some plays for them, I think we go into Philly in game 3 and steal it. I think because at that point, we're not allowing Joel Embiid, because they're going to come out on fire, right? But if we keep it close in the first quarter, we are known for fighting back in that third quarter. Remember before, when we were this super strong first quarter team where Julius Randle would come out and just blitz teams for like 20 points a game in the first quarter? Yeah. And then, then we come out in the third and we be like cooked. Julius Randle is done. He got nothing else left. Third quarter, we fighting the hell out of it, and then we come down, but that's, I think, what's going to happen to Philly. I feel like Philly's going to shoot their load in the first half of game 3, and it's going to be a dogfight down the stretch every game. But I think we go in and I think we steal that game number 3 and take a break on game 4. I don't know. I don't believe we sweep them unless Jalen Brunson goes to the left. If our coaches make the proper adjustments and get Jalen Brunson going to the left, their ass is cooked.
All right. Yeah. I can't say you're crazy. I can't call you crazy. Anything can happen. Jai, where's your head at going into game 3 and 4?
Well, I have to disagree with Dad here. Game 3 is going to be absolutely impossible to win. It's not because of it's not because of anything to do with the Knicks, not anything to do with the Sixers. The whole world hates the Knicks right now.
Oh yeah.
And I love it. I said it earlier today. I was like, ain't nothing funny anymore, right? Like they said the Knicks were
Right.
the laughing stock of the league for 10 years, 20 years, and now it's nothing to laugh at. They can't say, oh, it's good to see the Knicks back in the playoffs, because now we've been here too many times for their liking. It's not cute anymore.
Mhm.
And I think that with the officiating last night, there's going to have to be a counter from the league. I think that we saw that even after our Rockets game. The ref last night was John Goble, who is Jason Goble's brother. Jason Goble was the ref that made that terrible call against Jalen Brunson on the Aaron Holiday 3 in the Rockets game. And then we saw against the Pistons, we had our next game or 2 games after against the Pistons, Dante DiVincenzo dove
He tackled that
somebody's knees with no call, and we won the game. That was the league correcting their mistake. Now with this, the league believes they've made a huge mistake. The world believes they've made a huge mistake. I don't believe they made a huge mistake. I think their biggest mistake was not having Paul Reed in the game to get a rebound. So, that's my take on it. I think game 3 is going to be impossible to win unless we, like Dad said, if Jalen Brunson is the equalizer, if he has a good game, which I think he can do. I'm a huge Julius Randle fan, still, and I think that you obviously have to acknowledge he's been horrible in the playoffs, but in each series, he had one great game, and I think that good players can rise above anything and have one good game. So if our one good game from Brunson is game 3, then I'll agree with that. I'll say that game's ours, and then the series starts. We win game 3, series is ours, 100%.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think everybody makes valid points as usual. I wouldn't say game 3 is impossible. I do think of the games to try and win on the road, game 4 is the more winnable game than game 3, because I think they'll just be it'll be the blitz kind of game where we come out and maybe come out slow like we have in game 1 and 2, and we can't really score offensively, not moving the ball. Brunson's still struggling, and then Oubre hits 2 threes. Maxey hits a couple of 30-footers, off the screen, and the crowd is getting into it and everybody's loud. So I think game 3, not unwinnable, but impossible, no, but definitely not the more winnable of the 2 games. I think game 4 is the more winnable game between the 2. I do think, though, what you said, Reek, about Brunson being kind of like what we're seeing is what we're going to get. One thing that I think maybe we didn't address, or one thing that I think some Knicks fans are forgetting, Brunson hasn't been good against the Sixers this year. When we have beaten them down, but we've beaten them down because everybody else, on January 5th, when I was in Frisco, Deuce McBride, had 24, 25 points that game, and Dante had a big game like that, and Randall, was solid, was really steady. That was why we won that game. Brunson only had maybe 18 or 21 points. And then there was one time he beat them. It was when Bogdanovich had 22 points, missed 2 shots. That was really the reason why we won. Brunson struggled again. I think maybe the second time. So after we had that massive stinker of a game and then we played them again, I think Brunson had 28 that game, but that was it. I think Brunson's only averaging 21, 22 points a game, shooting under 45% against Philly this year. Their length, it's a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup for him because they have a lot more athletic length that they're throwing at him. Batum, he's older, but he's still got a lot of length and he can move and he's physical. Oubre, long, athletic, can move, giving him fits. Tobias Harris, long, really burly up top. So it's Brunson likes to kind of move guys, but Tobias Harris isn't a guy that he can move very easily. And then even Kyle Lowry, he's been able to score on, but Lowry, again, kind of one of those thicker guys that's just harder for Brunson to move on the block and get to his his quick little push shot that he likes to get to, and he's taking a lot of tough shots. So it's gonna be
also one other thing too is Brunson can beat the first guy. He can even beat the second guy. But when he gets downhill, Embiid is just standing there in the paint the entire time. That's it makes it so difficult to score a basket when you got to beat two guys and then go against them. Wasn't Embiid like close to being defensive player of the year, or wasn't he at one point?
That's
Or no?
what JJ Redick said.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
recall him being. He was top 3 like a couple years ago, but
He's well, just to say he's an underrated defender according to a lot of the guys that like him.
I don't think he's. I mean, he's big, but people score on him plenty. But no,
the guy can defend too, bro. Like
he plays good.
He's a big whiner. He's a big whiner, bro. But that kid is really good basketball player. I hate that. I hate that he is such a good player. I hate it.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, he can definitely be. It's just more so with Brunson. He's forcing the issue. He's settling a lot. I think he's not trusting that he can, he doesn't believe he can score. Because the issue with Dante in game 1 was he didn't believe he could score at the rim. I think Brunson just needs to just believe he can score at the rim. He hasn't really gotten to his shot fakes. He's kind of just been rushing the shot instead of taking his time playing on 2 feet, which, obviously everyone praises him for how he plays on 2 feet. Haven't really seen that from him. He's been taking a lot of moving fall away jump shots, side jump shots, step back jump shots. So what it's going to come down to is, can Josh Hart deliver on the road, and can DiVincenzo maintain his game 2 composure? Because game 1, I think he couldn't guard anyone, wasn't really hitting shots. Can he do more of what he did in game 2? I think what you're getting from Hartenstein and Mitch, that's just what you're going to get. I think you might not get 14 points from Hartenstein every game, but what you're seeing is, I wouldn't be surprised if he scored, maybe 8, maybe 9 some games. What you get is what you're going to get with him. So really what it comes down to on the road is DiVincenzo and Hart, like we've all talked about. I do like, obviously, can OG have a big game? Run some plays from early. there was on that play that the Sixers challenge where OG ripped through when he got fouled by Lowry, and the Sixers challenge, OG went at the rim and went at Embiid and laid it up, and he scored. Obviously the bucket didn't count, but he scored at the rim very easily. I think we need to utilize OG more offensively. I think he needs to be able to, he's talked about himself personally, how he believes he's built for a bigger offensive role. No better time to prove it than right now. Go ahead and show us. You want to be, I think he's been on the record saying he wants to be like Kawhi. Go be like Kawhi, bro. I'm not saying we need to get 40 from him, but I've seen OG score 37 against the Knicks. So I need to go see him do it, right now in a playoff setting against Philly. It's going to come down to which of the others can continue to bring it on the road, because Brunson, even if Brunson's struggling, we know Brunson's going to give us 23, 24. You can punch him in for that. But it's the other guys playing away from home, continuing to deliver in the clutch. I think game 4 is more winnable than game 3. Both games will be difficult. I don't anticipate. Every game 1 was tight. Game 2 was tight. I expect this whole series, however long it goes, every game to be tightly contested. But if there is a chance for a blowout, I would expect it to be game 3 and Philly kind of just coming out and blitzing us. But I think game 4 is where we regroup. And depending on the result if we drop game 3, we regroup. And I think maybe one of game 3 or 4 is maybe a more signature Brunson game. And we get, the Brunson that we got in, since 2024, as opposed to the Brunson that we're getting in games 1 and 2. So yeah, that's just how we're feeling. We're feeling good. The vibes are high. The video from last night has been watched a million times, but I do want to touch on, since we're all here, Angel, obviously, you brought it up earlier, the foul situation, the physicality of the series. I want to get everybody's thoughts on it, because I know everyone kind of has an unspoken understanding that in the playoffs, games get more physical, the whistle gets swallowed a bit more, but there's been a lot of belief that, the Knicks are getting by with physicality because of their reputation. The referees are kind of letting them play more physical because they're known for it. And then, of course, the 2-minute report comes out and, should have been a foul on Hart, should have been a foul on Brunson, should have been a timeout for Philly. So just Angel, what are your thoughts on that? There's been a lot of slander coming on the Knicks, just because, we play physical and there's contact, but I mean it's been both ways. I haven't seen
It's
enough.
been both ways.
I haven't seen enough to believe that, oh, it's just the Knicks trying to bully the Sixers. There's been physical play on both sides. There's been contact. There's been guys hitting the floor. There's been guys getting hit in the mouth. It's just basketball. Check rock. But what do you where do you stand? What do you think of the physicality so far of the series?
So we know the Knicks are physical. We remember, last year how we handled Cleveland in that first round. We walked them. We walked them and put them to bed. Just with straight physicality. Remember, Mitch dominated Jared Allen. So I mean, we know the Knicks are a physical team. This is what we do. This is our identity. This is Tom. This is what Tom Thibodeau came here to basically shed this culture and put this with the Knicks. And this is what we do. And so as far as that's concerned, like, the Sixers, that was the only way we were going to beat them, is if we had to be more physical than them. Because if we weren't going to be physical than them, they were going to make shots, we weren't going to rebound, and then, they would literally just win all 4 quarters, pretty much. So going into, and then as far as the foul goes, the final sequence of it, hey, man, I'm sitting on the couch. The guy who's supposed to be there making the call, he's there. He's getting paid to make the call. He has 2 eyes. You know what I mean? Make the call, but you chose not to. So what happens. Like,
hey, Maxey pushed off to get open in the first place.
It is, he did.
Shoved hard.
They said that wasn't enough to warrant a foul, but both actions by Hart and following both actions by Hart and Brunson should have been both called. So at least Maxey should have went to the line, and they would have been up 1 or something like that, and we'd have had like 6.6 left. To at least get a shot off to see if we can win it. But nah, man, if you didn't make the call, fuck it. Like, these people have been talking shit on the Knicks long enough. Like, people have been making fun of us. Everybody makes fun of the Knicks. And people make it a thing to make fun of the Knicks. So it's like, no, fuck you. Whatever. And
I don't mind getting one over on the league.
What?
We've been the laughing stock for long enough. I think we're owed a few. You know what I mean? To say that the Maxey push, I've literally seen. I've watched games where they'll call, like, James Harden will just push off on a guy and come and get the ball, and they'll call him for an offensive foul. So if what Maxey did isn't enough, then what's enough? Because you're quite
literally touched Maxey's waist. He touched his waist around the side as he was running past him. That's what he did. Josh Hart, I don't recall him hitting him.
They said Josh Hart pushed him to the ground.
And then Brunson grabbed the jersey.
That is not true. He was standing like this.
Brunson did grab his jersey.
Brunson grabbed his jersey.
In the beginning,
there's always jersey. They're grabbing Brunson's jersey when he's trying to inbound every time coming down the court. You know what I mean? It's just
what's his name? The French guy, but Batum down the stretch of the game was preventing Brunson from getting the ball. He literally had his hand around his neck. Brunson was looking at the ref like this, but what are you doing? It was crazy. I was like, he literally he was hog tying him.
There's physicality on both sides, but only and Sixers fans are very whiny. All they do is whine and complain. I mean, you've got the number 1 foul getter in the league. Like, Embiid's whistle is insane. I mean, people talk about Shea. One thing that bothered me last night is Brian Anderson said that Brunson is a guy who relies on getting to the free throw line. That's not true. That Brunson does not rely on getting to the free throw line. He's good at it. Getting to the free throw line is a skill. And like anybody, I mean, if anybody who's good at basketball will tell you, if you're good enough, they have to foul you because you're fucking them up. Like, you're killing them. So
that's the life I live in basketball.
Yeah. You always got foul. It was always a foul when you came down the lane. But to me, it's just like Philly, like, you've got literally the king of free throws on your team, and this is. I mean, I think fan bases generally take on the identity of their star player, and I think Embiid he tends to kind of flail and whine. So do Sixers fans, but Philly fans are often they whine and they cry about everything. Everything's always rigged against them. It's woe is me, and my life's not fair, and everybody
Well,
hates
speaking of
Philly
whining,
fans. Like, come on.
I thought you were going for LeBron because LeBron made me mad the last night.
Well, he wasn't talking. I have to correct all Knicks fans. He was not talking about the end of the game. He was talking about the review center and the call they made against DiVincenzo.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
because I'm like, bro, you need to handle your own damn locker room.
Yeah.
Y'all down up 30.
He didn't see the. I mean, there's no way he saw the game that just ended. Like he was.
That's what he said though. He said I just finished watching the end of this Knick game.
And he said what happened in the Knicks game, because he was talking about, I don't know why we have a replay center, and then what happened in the Knicks game was they replayed. I was like,
you about to lose a fan, LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, no, the Lakers are their own thing. You were up 22 and you lost, man. That was pathetic. But they can still this if they can get one, if they can get game 3, they'll be straight. If they lose game 3, they'll probably get swept again, which is very sad. But back to the Knicks. Yeah, I don't think that people are making something out of nothing with the whole foul sequence. And I mean, listen, man, I'm not gonna let anything rain on the magical moment that was Jalen Brunson 3, steal, offensive rebound, or steal, pass out, shot, offensive rebound, pass out, or pass to OG, which shout out to Hartenstein for even getting that up, because low key, Hartenstein probably got fouled on that.
Probably
about that. Hartenstein got thrown to the ground, and Embiid was just displacing people. No one was, but God for Maxey got fouled, but Hartenstein's literally falling to the ground because he's getting pushed around. Barely gets the pass off, a pretty decent pass for being pushed to the ground. Hits OG with a beautiful chest pass to Dante. And then Dante, just like I said, his confidence was different in game 2. I think he just approached the game differently. He approached the offense differently. And it showed, and I knew he wasn't going to have 2 bad games in a row. So huge on him for being able to come up big the way he did in that game 2, and then just giving Knicks fans an incredible moment. And also I just find it funny. I don't know if you guys have seen the clip. I said it in the Knicks chat, Angel. The Philly broadcast. It was 101.90.
Yeah.
It was 101.96. Yeah. They were ready to wrap it up. They were like, you got to get one on the road.
Yeah.
And they did it tonight. Stay tuned for the post-game show. Should be fun. And then literally, like they came.
Let's hit the turnpike.
And hit the turnpike. I'm like nah. Really? Like, I mean, again, as somebody, I have a master's in this stuff. Like I do. Like, this is my career. This is my profession. The team has to be up by like 14, 15 plus with a minute left before you start declaring the game over. Because I remember the Kings or the Hornets famously came back from down like 17 with like 2 minutes, 47 seconds left. They came back and won that game against Sacramento a few years ago. We've seen, teams up. I mean, the Knicks last season, we were up like 6 or 7 with like 30 seconds left and lost to the Mavericks because, they forced
the Reggie Miller game.
Yeah.
You were up by 9 with 31 seconds left.
We've seen the Reggie Miller game. We've seen the T-Mac game. We've seen these teams down 5, 6, 7, 10 points with less than a minute left and come back to, make a big run and make a big push and force OT or win the game in regulation. So I don't know the name of the 76ers play-by-play woman. It is a girl. It's a woman, but I don't know her name, but just unbelievable that she did that. Like, that is just borderline unforgivable. You don't declare a 5-point game over. I mean, there's still a whole minute left. Like, we could have come down and like hit our first shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we could have come down and not even been in that situation. Brunson, his first shot attempt goes down, or DiVincenzo hits an earlier 3. Like that. Oh, did we lose Reek? I don't know what happened. We might have just lost him.
Oh, maybe the computer died. Oh, he's here.
Oh, we're back. Okay, yeah. Your camera like cut off for a second. But yeah, to declare a game over with a minute left in a 2 possession game is unbelievable to me. I could not believe that they did that. I was laughing at that for a minute. I literally woke up. I woke up at like 7 o'clock, and I was probably just in my bed watching the DiVincenzo play over and over again, the post game celebration, watching the Sixers broadcast. Just that moment between Brunson and Melo was real dope. I really like how Melo is showing love to this team. You know, I mean,
he's always at the games.
He could be bitter, like, you know, that, you know, the front office when he was playing in New York never quite built a team like the one he had. I mean, we had kind of good teams, but we were really just as good as Melo could carry us. We never really had a team like the one we have now. And he could be bitter about that, but still shows up, shows love, you know, shows respect and love to all the players. So been really cool.
I think deep down inside, Melo knows what happened there. Well, not deep down inside. It was Phil Jackson. I hate Phil Jackson. I'm sure Melo hates Phil Jackson. It was just, he just didn't like him. And he ruined 4 years of this guy's career just for no reason. For no reason.
Yeah. So, but nonetheless, we sit here in 2024 on April 23rd, up 2-0 in a playoff series against the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that before the season had championship aspirations, probably still do. Obviously, you know, we're only halfway there. The job is not finished, as Kobe Bryant famously said, but vibes are high. What a win last night. And we go to Philly on Thursday night, right? Thursday night, we head to Philly for game 3. So thank you, Angel, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you coming on. Just impromptu, but, you know, appreciate you for hopping on and giving us some of your thoughts and some of your banter. Reef was like, yeah, you got to get Angel on. He's funny as hell. I think you delivered on that front. But
I got you. Thank you for having me.
My man. This is episode 10. We did it, Reek.
This is 10.
Yeah, this is number 10. Yeah. Our first guest. We did it. We hit episode 10. It's a big milestone for us. We've been saying we got to get to number 10. We finally did it. So thank you to Angel, for Jai and Reek and myself. It's been another episode of the Orange and Blue Crew. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Please stay with us. We'll be coming at you guys with more playoff content, all the Knicks content right here on the Orange and Blue Crew podcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.
All right.